Shalom Akim, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Shai, Ba'ashem Kadash, the honors and salutations to the elders and apostles of Great Mystery Rule. Well, yeah, this another another quick lesson because I gotta head out to the plantation. So the truth of the Lord Ba'ashem Shai is getting out there, and these elites are running scared. That's the reason why they have to crank up their propaganda machine and try to counter the truth. Right, because they're being exposed on a daily basis, on a minute by minute basis, and a lot of the people are waking up. And the Lord Yahweh Shai is making things known to the whole world of how the system is basically rigged, in favor of the super rich of this world, and how the people, you know, have to resist them. And that's exactly what you're going to be seeing in the very, very, near future. All right. Let me not just say near future, in the coming weeks and months. All right. Because the end of Esau's rulership is at hand, and a lot of truth is gonna be made known. So you know what? Let me just play this news clip real quick from Good Morning America, and you understand how fast this gospel from Ashak Yahushua is spreading, and they have to spread it. They have to create a trap, to put the man of the Lord in.
Now with a look at the QAnon, the baseless conspiracy theory, and how it's impacting some families, even tearing them apart. According to one estimate, last year, QAnon-related Facebook groups grew to at least 1.7 million members. That was until the social media giant started removing them in the fall. TJ Holmes is here with more. Good morning, TJ.
Hey, good morning to you, Robin. And look, criminals, thugs, insurrectionists, rioters. But when some people see that video of the siege at the Capitol, you know what they see? They see their husbands. They see their fathers, sons, brothers. People they say in some cases they've lost to QAnon. And now some...
And that's the angle they're going to be pushing very soon, to have families, turn on each other. You already have the neighbors, being, encouraged to report on each other. So, hey, that's how they do it, divide and conquer. Yeah, so they're always going to push the agenda that, you got to keep an eye on what your neighbors are doing. But at the same time, these so-called folks you see on TV, on these news stations, they basically working for the elite to further divide and conquer the people. So you are in the midst of an information war. The truth is is rolling over these propagandists, full steam. They're feeling the heat. All right, they're feeling that they have the feeling now that people are not really, 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 glued to them like they once were. Ever since the internet became a thing, for the people to congregate on and share ideas and get educated.
believe is the time to try to get them back.
Symbols of Q among the angry mob that invaded the U.S. Capitol, fired up by the misplaced belief that Trump won the election. The aftermath of that day offers a glimpse.
And that's exactly what happens when people drink the Kool-Aid. They tell people you have to give democracy a chance. And when the people say, okay, well, let's go along with it, then they realize there's so much fraud on both sides. Now they have to try to change the narrative. And that's exactly what they're going to keep on doing. And they have all types of, how you say, opportunities, man, to tell the truth, but they'll end up, layering lie upon lie. And when you start believing that lie, you're being criminalized, right? You're being branded as an extremist. So you just have to deal with it, because the gospel from Mashiach Yahushua clearly lets you know what you have to expect when you come to serve the Lord. Okay? So from the book of Psalms, chapter 140, it tells you what you have to expect All right. So when you read verse 4, Psalms 140, verse 4, keep me, O Lord, from the hands of the wicked. Prevent me from the violent man who have purposed to overthrow my goings. All right. So these media corporations are owned by the elites, and you always tell their deeds are not in line with the furtherance of the gospel from Mashiach Yahushai. All right, that job is to mislead the people, make the people, slaves forever. And when the people begin to realize that being a so-called slave and being oppressed, it's not the way of life, and they want change, all of a sudden, that's a problem. That's a problem in the school system. There's a problem in the so-called commercial banking markets and all that stuff, and then it gets ugly, all right? And then they try to pretend they're on the side of the people just to keep the people asleep. And then they go back to attacking the people, with a heavy hand. And then verse 5 says, the proud have hid a snare for me and cords, all right? In other words, they want to bind you up. They want to try to catch you, saying things, so they could bring up charges against you, and their job is not to look out for you. Their job is to destroy you, by any means necessary, whether it's through the food, through the information that they put forth through your job and all that stuff. It's like an endless maze of destruction. The food you drink is poisoned. Everything there, whatever it is, man. The air you breathe and all that stuff. So it says, they have spread a net by the wayside. They have set gins for me. So you just have to trust in the Lord, man. And then verse 6 says, I said unto the Lord, thou art my power. Hear the voice of my supplications, O Yahweh. So that's one thing you have to know, man. And that the Mosai did not call us to be going down to all this protest and be crying for democracy and representation. Yeah, we're here to serve captivity. So-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, so-called Native Americans. Babylon has nothing to offer us. All right, we're just here to serve captivity and hold on to the words of Mashiach Yahushai, and we'll be delivered.
To the impact QAnon is having on some families. This LA-based filmmaker says he grew up in a conservative Christian family in a small town outside of Dallas, Texas.
We weren't really allowed to watch, secular media or anything like that. A lot of biblical teachings.
According to Jeremiah, his mother was especially devout.
I always felt a lot of love, but, it was because that I was kind of going along with what she said.
Experts say
that's what they're going to do, So if you believe in the Lord, and then you tell your children they shouldn't be watching certain programs and all that stuff, and you're giving them sound advice. You know how children are, they don't really have discretion. They tell their friends in school, and their friends tell their own parents, and before you know it, CPS comes knocking on your door. So the word of the Lord, is it's adversarial to the system of Esau. It's against Esau's rulership. It's against Esau's philosophy. So you're going to have a confrontation because there is no cooperation between light and darkness. All right. So the book of 2 Timothy, verses 2, verse 16 says, but shun profane and vain babblings, for they will increase unto more ungodliness. And that's what you have to be on guard against. You can't just, be listening to every garbage, you hear on the internet or on the news. So you have to protect your mind. That's the reason why I use the word as a filter. All right. So regardless of how much you use the word as a filter, you're still going to be demonized. All right. Because you serving the Lord, you're an enemy of the state.
QAnon followers have swelled in number since the onset of the pandemic. Jeremiah says his mother was one of them.
I feel like it was more this pandemic where she started saying stuff about like, the government's trying to, to silence us by wearing masks, and, China's behind this.
The baseless QAnon conspiracy theory began with Falk was secretly battling a cabal of Satan-worshipping pedophiles for control of government. But QAnon believers have since touted a wide range of false theories, some claiming DC and Hollywood elites are operating a global sex trafficking ring, others making claims about the assassination of JFK and even the existence of UFOs.
There's certain things.
That's one thing you have to be aware of, man. So when you get all the evidence to prove the truth, all of a sudden they want to turn that upside down. So it doesn't matter how hard they try, how hard they try to cover up their tracks. What really matters is this: that the gospel from Mashiach Yahushai is being preached. It's gone throughout the four corners of the earth, and then shall the end come, and they are scared of the judgment that's coming upon the earth for these elites. The destruction of these elites, wealth and everything else, and then their enslavement, to serve the children of Israel, all right, to serve us in the kingdom of heaven. That's what they fear the most. That's why they have to create this narrative, all right, so they can include the Hebrew Israelites in there. So the book of Colossians chapter 4 verse 6 says that, actually start from verse 5, Colossians chapter 4 verse 5, walk in wisdom toward them that are without, redeeming the time. So whatever knowledge you do have, you have to know how to use it appropriately when you're among folks in the world, because they're gonna twist your word. You see how the news agencies do that. All right. So it says in verse 6, let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt, that ye may know how ye ought to answer every man. Yeah, so you don't really have to tell them the nitty gritty. All right, you just have to keep your answers short and brief and keep it moving. Because all they do is try to, twist your words, and then, they edit it, and then cause you to be, super demonized. So don't be ignorant of the devil's devices, okay? So you have to understand what you are exposed to. Even on the job, you got agents of Esau that you work with. They just pretend like they are your so-called colleagues or your bosses or your managers or supervisors. It's just what you have to go through. All right, so don't be nervous or upset that you've been demonized for the gospel of Mashiach Yahushai. The Lord said that you're gonna go through these things. You're gonna be put in a tight spot. Okay, and then final precept will be from the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 13 verse 8. It says, for we can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. All right, so once you serve the Lord, there's nothing for you to worry about, because you already got the victory. All right, so there's nothing they can do to try to hold you. They can hold your body. They can throw you in jail. But, the Lord Yahweh Shai has already made you free spiritually. All right. So that's the point that I came. All right. So just stay focused and, keep it simple. Shalom.